Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome to 2CTV and another evening live stream for you guys. Latest updates from the Middle East, the hostages situation, and of course, the media's obsession with crisis actors. Now, we have to clarify a couple of things. To be objective, the real world is messy. Conflicts are messy. There is propaganda in all conflicts from all sides. That happens all the time. The issue that we have is that the scrutiny you get on one side is here, and for the other side is here. So as we've already said, every time the IDF says something, or Israel, they say the IDF or Israel claims. But when you hear something from Gaza, well, it's the authorities in Gaza who have confirmed. The health ministry in Gaza confirmed. So it is interesting to see this, but this is actually about a couple of cases. I'm going to focus on one of them because there's this, wow, everyone thought he was a kid, but he's actually 19 years old. He's still young. And some people, I assume, these are two separate people. And I thought that the Gaza side are going to come and deny and say, yeah, that's a different kid. But no, it's the same kid. Anyway, hello to everybody in the live chat. We're going to come to you guys, get your reaction live. The media are not really focusing on this. There's no investigative journalism from BBC Newsnight, from BBC World Service, from CNN, from all the others. No, they're not really concerned about any of this. So what we initially heard was yesterday and today that they said this child, then we discovered he's 19, but still a young person. They damaged his arms. Oh, his arms are broken. Okay, and then left him 8 days without medical treatment. 8 days. So if your arms are broken and completely abandoned for 8 days, it would get worse and worse and worse. So that means that you'll hardly be able to actually move your arms, right? That's what's going on. His name is Mohammed Nazal. Says that they kept obviously targeting them when they were, by the way, every single one of them are convicted. They're criminals. They're not they're not hostages. These so-called Palestinian prisoners, even when they were teenagers, because you've seen the footage of the schools in Gaza and media in Gaza brainwashing kids from early ages. So that's kind of normal at this point. So when they become teenagers, they become a little bit rebellious and thugs. So that happened. And then we have this video. And his arms. Very concerning, right? Let's watch this.
Nasser.
Well, that looks extremely concerning. And I was like, oh, well, at least maybe an accident. But as I said at the beginning of the live stream, propaganda comes from all sides during conflicts. Let's be objective. The problem we have is that one side is completely believed by the globalist media. The other side completely denied and ignored by the mainstream media, which is now the Jewish side being ignored. So this happened. And then the footage came out from yesterday, the moment he was actually released. That's why I thought, and at first I thought, well, surely there must be two different kids. They're not the same. Then even the Gaza side confirmed, yeah, it's still the same kid. But they didn't actually explain why, when he was actually getting on the bus, before the video I just showed you, that was after. That's him now in Gaza. As he was getting on the bus to go home, that was him. Well, that is a miracle, absolutely a miracle. Although this could be a reverse miracle because when he was in Israel, his arms are fine. The moment he got into Gaza, his arms were not functioning. And so, okay, we don't know the story of what happened in Gaza. This could actually turn out to be a very dark story. But for now, because we don't know, we can still giggle about it. But because at best, this could just be as usual. Look at this. They go to Gaza, they put that on him, put the bandage and everything else. Or there could be a worst case scenario, which means that they did something to him when he got home so that they could put the cameras on him. It's a very selective issue. It's very selective. So the representation of that interview, that the kid being on the video, is to basically portray an image that almost every single Palestinian prisoner has been harmed. But why single out one of them, very proactively arrange the interview, going on national TV in Gaza? But I hope that it's just a fake one rather than actually the Gaza side doing something to him and breaking it and then putting a bandage on him, because it could be the worst case scenario. But they're the globalists and the mainstream media believing everything coming from Gaza and the so-called authorities, right? They're not even questioning any of it. But because they're listening to the Quds News Network, or QNN. Who are these people? Well, the Quds News Network is a Palestinian news agency affiliated with, yep, you guessed it right, all the Islamist nutters in charge, including the Islamic Jihad guys. According to the QNN journalist Ahmed Youssef, one of their own actually admitted that the ultimate mission of Quds News is not about business or journalism, but to promote the Palestinian fight against Israel. And these guys were in charge of that interview and the footage and everything else. They themselves admit they're a propaganda machine funded by the globalists. And then now we have to believe everything they say. Everything that they say. But we've also had so many, again, crisis actors, Mr. Fafo, and of course AI images, deep fake images being spread around. Which makes you wonder, by the way. So, like, there is over 1.5 million altered images of destructions already created, and the victims and everything else. It makes you wonder because there's a conflict, and in each conflict there are collateral damages, unfortunately. So there will be innocent civilians, right? Or just civilians in general, even if they're not innocent. They're still civilians. They're still human beings. Why do the Gaza side feel the need to create fake images and footage instead of actually showing the few civilians and the houses being destructed and everything else? It's because it doesn't fit their narrative, the angle and the type of image and the time of footage, because they want to create a more exaggerated version of the reality, because they know if they just show an image of one of the neighborhoods that's been destroyed, humans are now kind of used to conflicts now, and in terms of the new age of internet and information, we've seen more footage and videos than ever before. While there'll be a lot of people from the liberal left who'll be like, oh no, this is the first time I've seen a conflict, now I care about conflict, and yesterday I didn't care about Yemen or Syria or Sudan, suddenly I care about this. But they know that's still not enough. If they want to hit you right here in your heart, they have to create more exaggerated versions, like this baby that's not even real. They keep doing this. Over 1.5 million AI images and deepfake images and everything else being created. And some of them have been used by our mainstream media outlets. Fascinating that they have not apologized or retracted from their original statements. But let's talk about the civilians in Gaza. Civilians, right? The people who are not covering their faces like cowards, right? Elon Levy obviously posted this video of the moment, the latest video we had from last night, the Israeli hostages being released because they were being carried by let's just call them the officials, the soldiers from Gaza. You can see people in the neighborhood, these are so-called civilians, creating a very, very uncomfortable and intimidating atmosphere for the Israeli and hostages, booing them and shouting at them, jeering. Watch this. Remember the last girl staring right in the face of one of the so-called officials in Gaza? These were the people who just came to watch what was going on. Suddenly they were very excited. Suddenly they were very passionate about supporting their so-called authority and officials. Yesterday they were telling us that these people are just innocent. They're not like this. They're not the same as the Hamas people. That's what they told us. Now there will be some people in Gaza, and we've showed you those who protest against their leadership, but that's a smaller percentage compared to this. This is what we're dealing with. But this footage that's now been circulated for the past 24 hours or so, why are our mainstream media not showing this to show the character of the people who attended this ceremony? Because they turned it into a ceremony. Imagine if it was the other way around. Imagine if the so-called Palestinian prisoners were being released from Israel, and we were seeing footage of Israeli citizens booing at them and jeering and everything else. Oh, it'll be front page, headlines, massive. CNN, all the newspapers, everything would say, "Oh well, the Israeli citizens they were not really friendly towards the Palestinian prisoners." That's what they would do every single time. But they don't want to talk about any of this. And also, meanwhile, in the West, this is West Belfast. There was someone sprayed "Irish Lives Matter," right? And they say, this is the headline from BBC News: West Belfast anti-immigration signage has been recorded as a hate incident by the police in West Belfast. This is the state of the Western world, ladies and gentlemen. If you write "Irish Lives Matter," it's a hate incident. If you write "Black Lives Matter," oh no, it will be celebrated. Absolutely celebrated. There is an issue here, because, as I've said over the last few weeks, element of liberals over the last few decades who turned a blind eye to the threats from Marxists, the far left, and Islamofascists, because they see anything that's more like an underdog as something or someone who's been oppressed, and they take their side and say, "Oh well, the BLM movement, I think they just want equality. They just want to defend the oppressed people in the black communities." Same with the idea for open borders and immigration, saying, "Well, this is the nice immigrant who's just coming here. One of my best friends is an immigrant," and say, "But all migrants are the same. They're all lovely." And now, when this chaos is happening, when foreign criminals causing chaos on our streets, when we still have the Islamists going around, it's the same liberals, and it's the same with Greta Thunberg. Greta Thunberg flying the flag of Palestine. Their own former supporters are disappointed, saying, "Oh, I used to like Greta, but she's gone a little bit extreme." Or that foreign criminal, the migrant, "Oh, I'm disappointed that one migrant caused us harm. What is happening to our country? You did this. You allowed this to happen." Because the people with the far left ideologies, and of course the Islamists who believe in the one world government, they always wanted to infiltrate the system. You'd simply open the door in the name of being progressive and open-minded. And now, the whole of our institutions, who are still being run by the liberal millennials, who are getting older now, they are now in the positions of power, and they're confused. They say, "Oh, what happened? All we wanted was just everybody to be friendly and funny and just nice." Are you kidding me with this? How many times did everybody else, the conservative-leaning people, the patriotic-leaning nationalists, warned you guys not to do this? You just labeled everybody as intolerant or a bigot or this or that. Now we're dealing with your mess. And apparently it's still our fault. You see what they did with Tommy? Not just that, this one. You write "Irish Lives Matter," the police says it's a hate incident. This is absolute lunacy. Anyway, let's see what we have in the live chat. Actually, let's go to you guys. Ego Chip says, "Karma is a fictional concept created in order to justify inherent unfairness that exists in the universe." Then we have Cold Breeze, one of our regulars, saying Ireland belongs to the Irish, not the legal criminals. Well, apparently you say that, you're a bigot, according to the mainstream. Why is it that it's normal for the so-called Palestinian people to say Palestine is for Palestinians, just for us, and Jews need to get out? That's okay. That's good nationalism, apparently. But I don't know what's going on there. The second time that's happened today. Malfunctioning. But at the same time, you have a problem where any other country, any other liberal democracy wanting to protect its borders or its flag or its territory, now you're not allowed. So right now we have rallies and marches in Japan, and the protests in Japan that's happening right now is that they are chanting long live the emperor, protect Japan, Japan is for Japanese, and they're not protesting necessarily against extreme government policies. They are very proactive as a culture. The Japanese are going out there warning their governments and the establishment, saying, look what's happening to the West, do not let that happen here. So I would love to see the so-called liberal millennials and now Generation Z to start protesting outside the Japanese embassy to condemn what people are doing in Japan. Do you think they'll do that? They don't even know it's happening. They don't even care what happens in Japan. So this is the main dilemma that a lot of the so-called liberals have in the West. Tia Scott says, Maya, I think you need a large whiskey. Yeah, my throat is coming back again. But also, the one problem I have is that the angrier I get, the worse this gets. WULFI says, your TV is spying on you. Yes, I know. The problem I have is these smart TVs, you say the wrong word, it just turns it on automatically. I know I can turn off the function, but I can't like it. Right, let's go back to you guys. Lord Byron says, we were told to integrate with these people, but they never wanted to integrate at all. Everyone who's scratching their head saying what's happened. To be fair, this reminds me, the narrative has been for years in the West, in countries like the UK, that in a very subtle way, in a very indirect way, essentially the establishment want us to integrate with newcomers. That's basically what they mean when they talk about integration. They essentially want you to integrate with the foreign cultures. But you still have to be careful, because if you integrate too much, they will call it cultural appropriation. But it's not good if you turn them into a British person, because they have to keep their heritage and their culture. But you're not allowed to be proud of your culture. And they are the same people who are now wondering, what's happened? Why is this happening in the West? Well, you did this, you idiots. Here say, thank you so much for a massive super chat saying, have yourself a whiskey, Mr. Tusi, love from Israel, Stamford Hill. Thank you very much. That would be a very expensive whiskey. Although if I get a bottle, that would be, actually that probably would pay for a bottle of Lefroy, which I like. So yes, thank you very much for the support, by the way. But yeah, I mean, looking back at this, because those of you who just joined us now, because we were talking about this. Well, initially they said this kid. Then we discovered he's 19 years old. So, but he was a teenager. He was a kid when he was arrested, convicted criminal, because they start early days. And now they are saying that, well, look at his arms. Oh my God, look what Israel did to him. Which again is fascinating. In case you missed it, just a couple of seconds. Watch this.
Nasser.
He does look a little bit drugged up as well. This is him in Gaza, but a few hours before, when he was in Israel, getting on the bus, his arms were working. They were not broken. I don't know what happened here. So, the so-called authorities in Gaza also have some questions to answer. Oh, the problem is, as I said earlier, the people who need to ask these questions, the legacy media and those who have a press pass to be in Gaza, they're not asking these questions. Why are they not asking these questions? What is the interest for the globalist and corporate funded media for supporting everything that comes out of Gaza? These are the questions that we have to ask about the role of the establishment. Chloe, thank you very much, Chloe, for the support, saying the hero of Stoke police were upon him and said Aisha was... Every day we have a comment about Aisha being 9. Yes, we know Aisha was 9. The problem we have is that this backward culture and this ideology we could talk about centuries ago, right? But that's still happening. You've seen children being forced to be brides. You're still seeing what's going on, not just in the Middle East or North Africa. Look at Rotherham. Look at Rochdale. I mean, you've seen what's been going on in our own country, in Britain. Nobody seems to be safe. But you're not allowed to criticize it because that means you are stereotyping every single person who's brown. Well, I'm saying it, and I'm relatively brown. Especially in the summer. But when I get extra tanned. So, what's the argument here? Are we not allowed to criticize illegal migrants or foreign criminals? What's going on here? But again, the media continue to believe everything the other side says, and you got the AI images being created left, right, and center. Nobody seems to care about any of this. Over 1.5 million fake images and footage coming from Gaza, and they just say the health minister in Gaza told us this, blah blah blah. And here you criticize things. You say Irish lives matter. Oh, it's a hate incident. The police have said hate incident, and BBC News will be on top of it. Oh, BBC News loves these sort of headlines. Look, West Belfast anti-immigration signage. Hey, if something happens to me tomorrow, do you think there will be a BBC headline about my 2C? Nope, absolutely not. See the double standards. It's not just with policing, it's also about the media narrative. Yashua says most Gaza victims' pictures and videos are, in fact, yes, AI generated, which again, as I said, considering it's a real-life conflict and collateral damage is unfortunately happening, which is a natural course of events. But the reason they're not showing you the real footage or real images is because it's not enough. They know it's not enough. They know how to manipulate the West because they know a lot of people here are kind of in their head. They're used to seeing houses being destroyed, neighborhoods being destroyed. So they want to create a more exaggerated version because they've been trained by Qatar, by the Iranian regime, by the Chinese Communist Party, the kings of PR and spin, and the Eastern globalists. And they've also learned it from the Western globalists. So it's a cycle of doom. And that's why they're using all these AI images. But they're not even that good. They are so obviously fake. How are people falling for this? I mean, it makes no sense. Right. Angels of Death says, I was seriously outdone by that £50 super chat, Maya. Hope the £150 that I've donated over the last few weeks helped keep you going. Absolutely. Thank you so much, Angels of Death and everybody else. Again, it is a quite tricky time for the past month or so. We've essentially had most of our videos demonetized. The sad thing is the adverts still run on YouTube, but I don't get anything out of it. It goes to Google. So if it weren't for you guys, Angels of Death and on all the others, ASA and everybody else, Tiny Tough and Cold Breeze and all the other regulars that keep supporting the channel, and everybody else, sorry I forget the usernames and everybody, and all those who have been joining as a member of our 2CTV club on locals, I would not be able to sit here. I would not be able to even afford whiskey, let alone keep talking to you guys. But I want to say a massive thank you to everybody who's been supporting, who's been following our work, because we are taking this to the next level. We are continuing. We're getting more followers now. I think, is it 352 now? Or has it been updated? Okay, it's still 352,000. It's getting close to 353,000. Yesterday was on 349,000. So we are continuing to go up. We are continuing to beat the mainstream media ratings. TV is dead because we are the media. And thank you so much for watching this video. Make sure to share this and watch all the other videos we've done throughout the day. I'm Maya 2C, and we are the media.